to see what you're doing right now. It just might be buffering and choppy. So
you can see me? Can anybody see me? No, I'm not moving.
You got 3 viewers.
Can anyone see?
All right, now it's working. You're on.
Can anybody see me now? Can you see me now? Hey, 4 viewers are back. So there's all kinds of vents hanging there. Can anyone see? It looks like they can see me.
It says excellent condition now, so I guess
it says excellent condition. Hey, welcome to 840 prep with the panicked crew over here. We're doing fine. How you doing, Damien?
I'm fine.
Okay, ready? Well, good thing it was only question 50. We got 11 to do. This is question number 1 of the 11. 50 through 60 is the hardest, so 11 questions is kind of fun. So I can see myself online. All right, it says you can find the volume of an irregularly shaped solid object by completely submerging it in water and calculating the volume of the water the object displaces. This is water displacement. You completely submerge a solid object in a rectangular tank that has a base of 40 by 30. 40 by 30. And is filled with water to a depth of 20. The object sinks to the bottom and the water level goes up 0.25. What is the volume? Volume of a rectangular prism. Does it say rectangular prism? Rectangular tank. Rectangular tank is length times width times height. So the 40 doesn't change, the 30 doesn't change, and what you multiply by is the change over here. Notice I did it in blue because it's water. La, 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 la. So, and that changes 1/4. So this is a hard question on the ACT, and it asks, what is 1/4 times 40 times 30? 1/4 of 40 is 10. 30 times 10 is 300. So it actually took me longer to read this problem than to do the math. Notice how Phil's rules are: underline as you're reading, write an equation, draw a picture, use the answers. I didn't use the answers here, but I used 3 of my 4 rules. All right, we'll use a couple of more fun things. One of my favorite all-time ACT questions, and it says a ratio question: if x is in ratio to y of 5 to 2, and y is in ratio to z 3 to 2, what is the ratio of x to z? I think about 95% of students miss this, and it is a ratio to a ratio. Remember, y is the same thing, so I'll have you write 5 to 2 is the same as 3 to 2. And students go, see, these 2 numbers are the same. So how do I make 2 and 3 the same? And ratios can be written as fractions. It's like getting a common denominator. And as soon as I do that, students recognize you multiply the top by 3 and the bottom by 2, and what you get is 15 to 6 to 4. You make the 2 and the 3 the same, and a ratio of 15 to 6 is not a reduced ratio, and a ratio of 6 to 4 is not a reduced ratio, but a ratio of 15 to 4 is a reduced ratio. Love this problem. Love this problem. Anybody? Can anybody hear me? Is anybody on watching? It says 4. Can somebody make a comment? Somebody make a comment.
Drop a comment.
Drop
y'all.
a comment. Drop me a comment bomb. Peyton, did you hang in there? There's 4 people on. All right, question number 52. Which of the following is a solution for the statement of the inequality shown below? And once again, I can't believe this is a 52. It is literally one of the easiest math questions ever, but it's a compound inequality with a negative, which freaks people out. So I guess that's what makes it hard. When you have a compound inequality, you can split them into 2 different problems. And when 1 is less, minus 3x is less than 10, I can subtract 1, and I get negative 3x is less than 9. If I divide by negative 3, This is where, I'm dividing by a negative sign with an inequality. I have to switch the inequality, and I get x is greater than negative 3. Now here's one of Phil's rules. Stop midway and check out the answers. This is rule number 4. Look at the answers. X is greater than negative 3. X is less than negative 3? No. X is greater than negative 2? No. X is greater than negative 3? Yes. X is greater than negative 3. X is greater than negative 5? No. The answer has to be H. X is between 3 and 2 because there's still an inequality to do. And right here, there is a blank. So X is greater than negative 3. And I always say, in an inequality, when it's just one-sided, go to the absurd. Put in 3 billion. 3 billion is greater than negative 3, but 3 billion is not going to work here when 3 billion times negative 3 is greater than negative 5. But let's solve it anyways. Let's subtract 1. We get negative 6 is less than negative 3x and divide by negative 3, which means switch the inequality and I get 2 is greater than x. Guess what? That's 2 is greater than x right there. Answer choice H works. 53. A rectangular prism. We got 2 rectangular prisms. So solid geometry seems to be in the hard for the ACT. The formula for the surface area of a rectangular solid shown below is the surface area. What did I say? Oh, by the way, you've been bugging me in my brain all night along with my arithmetic. I'm going to find where the word arithmetic came from. Is that a philism? Did I make that up? Have I been saying this wrong for 25 years of tutoring? Arithmetic. All right, the surface area. Area is each face. So length times width plus length times height plus width times height doubled. So there are 6 faces on a rectangular solid, a rectangular prism, or a cube. So this is length times width plus length times height plus width times height doubled gives us our wrapping paper. I call this the wrapping paper problem. This is if you have a box and you wrap it, this is how much wrapping paper you use if you exactly use that much wrapping paper. I wouldn't know how to do that because I'm really bad at wrapping presents, and that's what you have daughters for. But then she moved, and she doesn't wrap my presents anymore. So what happens here is by doubling each, underline here with your pencil, of the dimensions, length, width, and height, the surface area is multiplied by what factor? 2 lengths times 2 widths. Notice how I factored out the 2. That doesn't matter. It's in every one of them. Plus 2 lengths times 2 heights plus 2 widths times 2 heights. I ran out of space. The factor multiplies by 4. I would bet about 97% of my students get this wrong because they read doubling and they bite on the wrong answer, which is double. It doesn't double. It goes up by a factor of 4 because it's 2 lengths times 2 widths. Great problem. 54. Terrible problem. Terrible problem. Let's read how bad standardized tests can be. A dog eats 7 cans of food in 3 days. At this rate, how many cans of food does the dog eat in 3 plus D days? I mean, this is just standardized bullshit if ever there was one. 7 cans in 3 days? Who in their right mind would feed their dog 7 cans of food in 3 days? I mean, you'd feed them 6 cans of food in 3 days. And you would add some dry food to it or something else. 7 cans in 3 days is the dumbest ratio ever invented by man. Now what we're going to do is solve this problem with a trick. And the trick is there is a variable in the question and that same variable in the answer. And we're going to plug in a number or pick a number or plug in a number for D. The ratio is 7 to 3. What is the world's greatest number to pick when the ratio is 7 to 3? Why don't you pick 3? So if it eats 7 cans of food in 3 days, how many does it eat in 3 plus 3 days? 7 plus 7, or 14 cans of food. Let's look at the answer choices. 7 plus 7 times 3 over 3 is answer choice K. That equals 14. I'll let you download this and put in 3 for the rest of the answer choices. None of them make sense. Or I could do them really quick, like 3 over 3 is 8. 7 over 3 plus 7 over 9 is not 14. 7 over 3 plus 1 is not 14. 7 over 3 plus 3 is not 14. See how easy it is? I can look at it and solve it and not do it, and do a very, very easy one where this is very abstract math. So when we have abstract math, make it concrete. One of Phil's rules is make it concrete. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be like Vinny's rules. Phil's cousin Vinny, the concrete. Or Joey, my cousin Joey, because I'm Italian, so I have a cousin Joey. Joe, don't get offended. He has a degree in engineering, so he's not a concrete guy. Don't be offended I called you concrete guy, Joe. He makes great wine, too. So, and my dad will never watch my YouTube video, so Joe's wine's better than yours, Dad. Sorry. All right, Kelly asked 120 students questions about skiing. Of course she did. The results of the poll are shown in the table below. Have you skied either cross-country or downhill? Big or? Yes, 65. Have you skied? If you answered yes to question 1, have you skied downhill? 28 skied downhill. If you answered yes to question 1, did you ski cross-country? 45 said yes. This is also the dumbest answer ever because the answer would be 65 people skied downhill and 1 went cross-country skiing because nobody goes cross-country skiing except for like my friend Carlton, who will never watch my YouTube video either, who is a weirdo cross-country skier. Any of you weirdo cross-country skiers out there? I couldn't see anything for about 9 minutes. My wife said, I know, our software crashed. We're up to 7 viewers, so people came back. All right, this, my friends, is a Venn diagram. So this is cross-country, and this is downhill. And the total here is 65. The total here is 65. And we've got 28 and 45. How many fit in here? And how this works is 28 plus 45 is greater than 65. How much greater than 65? It's 73. And 73 minus 65 is 8. So the complete Venn diagram is 20 and 8 and 30, what's that, 38? No, 37. Okay, Phil made a math mistake. 37. The answer, nonetheless, is 8. A Venn diagram, the two added together, this is a classic Venn diagram. It doesn't come up that often. It used to be a huge old SAT question. It's worth practicing because if it does come up, it's definitely going to be in the 40s to the 50s. Love this question. Geometry, fractions, lots of stuff going on. Fractions as the answers. Freaks my kids out like crazy. I love that students get freaked out by fractions. A square below is divided into 3 rows of equal area. Underline equal area. It's divided into 3 rows of equal area. That means each row is divided by 3, or a third. In the top row, the region A has the same region as A. Oh, I like same. I use same all the time. Same is bisect, same is the average, same is the half, same is equal parts, same is halfway. Same as half. In the middle row, the 3 regions have equal. Ooh, same and equal. I never paid attention to that before. I'm going to have to put a little star there. Use same area. And they have 3 regions, so that's a third. And then in the bottom row, the 4 regions have equal area. Notice they said same, equal, equal. So this is a fourth. What fraction of the square is the region labeled A? A third of a half. A third of a third. That's a plus. Plus a third of a fourth. And students are like, oh my God, what do I do? You see this thing right here? It has a fraction button on it. And the fraction button is divide. 1 divided by 3 plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1 divided by 3. Oh, I said plus. Back up. I got to learn the Willy Wonka. We got to get this clip, okay? Well, we can't. It would be infringement. All right. But send me a note. Remind me afterwards. All right.
Okay.
The Willy Wonka, reverse that. Say that back. You know the Gene Wilder. Say that backwards. Reverse that.
Yeah.
All right. So it's 1/3 times 1/2 plus. Damn it! I did times 12. Okay, clear. When you make a mistake on your TI-85, hit clear twice to calm yourself down, and it goes blank. 1/3 1 divided by 3 times 1 divided by 2. Plus 1 divided by 3 times 1 divided by 3 plus 1 divided by 3 times 1 divided by 4. What a tedious problem. Enter, and it goes 0.36111111 forever. And then students, please, every student know this famous button, the math button, math, frac, enter, 13/36. I actually could have done the fractions faster than it took me to plug that in and say it. The answer is 13/36. The function. If you've seen my functions video, you've seen this one. If you've seen my trig functions video, you've seen this one. So you've seen this problem before, and that is the function is a sine wave, sine of x, and that's this one right here. And the sine wave x plus a plus b for constants a and b are graphed in the standard xy plane below. The functions have the same maximum value. If they have the same maximum value and they have the same amplitude, because the amplitude is 1 because you watched my trigonometry video on trig functions, which all 16 of you who watched, this amplitude is 1, so this is 1 and this is 1. So they have the same minimum value as well because they're a sine wave. If they have the same maximum value and they have the same minimum value, they have 0 vertical shift. That means B is 0. Answer choice A. It shifts left to right. We're not really sure with the sine wave, so A could be left, right. A cannot be 0 because it does shift, and that's where in the parentheses A is a horizontal shift, B is a vertical shift. The vertical shift doesn't happen. B has to be 0. Question number 58. Hurry up. The following number line graph shows the solution set to the inequality. The absolute value is less than -1. Ladies and gentlemen, the smallest an absolute value can be is 0. I love this question. It has no answer. It's K, the empty set. Fight me. There is no absolute value that is less than 0. Wrong way. Go the other way, Phil. 59. As part of a probability experiment, it is to answer 4 multiple choice questions. Really? 4 multiple choice questions? For each question, there are 3 possible answers, only one of which is correct. If Elliot randomly and independently answers each question, what is the probability that he will answer each of the 4 questions correctly? I'd love to teach this the really long way, which is to take 3 questions, and here are the 3 choices, and then I have 3 questions, and each of them have 3 choices. Do you remember doing this, Damien? Do you remember this in like 7th grade?
Nope.
It's called a decision tree. So after 2 questions, I'm up to 9. And how many are there total? 4. I'm not going to draw the decision tree out, but it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way out like that. And you have to draw 3 from each one of these circles. So what it actually is 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3. Or 1 divided by 3 to the power of 4. Let's see if the calculator can do that one. Is 3 to the power of 4 something that Phil tells you to memorize? Yes. The little arrow symbol, it goes like that, is an exponent. We'll raise that to 4. And we're going to get, drop your calculator. We're going to get some ridiculous fraction. What do we do with a fraction, folks? We hit the math fraction button, and we get 1 out of 81. We could have just put 3 to the 4 in here and did 1 out of 81. There is 81 possible choices of 4 questions with 3 answers. Last but not least, question number 60. Trigonometry, laws of sines and cosines. They give you the law of sines. They give you the law of cosines. And it says the sides of an acute, I love that word, acute triangles. You know why they call them acute triangles? Because they're cute.
They're adorable.
They're adorable. They're not obtuse like Damien.
Thank you.
Slurp can. All right. The triangle measures 14 by 18 by 20. 14 by 18 by 20. Which of the following equations, when solved for theta, gives the measure of the smallest, underline smallest? Where is the smallest angle? It is opposite the smallest side. And where do we find 3 sides and an angle? Oh, that would be in the law of cosines. If you've watched my law of sines and cosines, which I have 2 YouTube videos on, one live, one filmed and produced, but they both say the same thing and I use the same problems. I wonder if I use this problem in it. C squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2ab times cosine c. So we make this c, we make this a, we make this b, and we make this cosine of c because it's the opposite side. So all I'm looking for is 14 squared. That's the answer. If you know the law of cosines, all they ask you to do is recognize it. This is one of the easiest problems on the ACT ever. I could have solved this problem as fast as I could have read it out loud. I could have actually solved it faster than I could have read it out loud. That is questions 50 through 60. Thank you for hanging in there with us, all 7 of you that dumped. I wonder what it's going to look like on YouTube. We might have to shoot this one again just to shoot it again and put it up on YouTube. Thanks so much. Tomorrow night is the 2012 official practice test, the 67C. You can get it from my website. You can get it from below in the description. I want to start doing that, like having a little description thing that I can point to. Like, I love that. Like, subscribe. Click on notification. No, everybody hates that.
Smash like now.
Smash like now. Give us a thumbs up for being the inappropriate amateurs that we are. Good night. I'm Phil McCaffrey. See you tomorrow night.